I'm Alan Hall, President of WeatherGuard Lightning Tech, and I'm here with the Vice President of North American Sales for Wind Power Lab, Joel Saxum. And today we're talking about the need for wind blade inspections and repair planning with our guest, Armando Costa Rego, founder and CEO of Arthwind. And Arthwind are the blade doctors of Brazil. Now, if you've been around wind turbines long enough, you know that wind turbines are a critical part of the renewable energy infrastructure, but they're also complex machines that can be susceptible to damage, and wind blades are particularly vulnerable to damage from ice, wind, and other environmental factors. And that's why it's important to have a comprehensive blade inspection and repair plan in place. This plan should include a schedule for regular inspections and a process for identifying and repairing any damage that is found, and Arthwind is really key part of that. By following a regular inspection and repair plan, you can ensure your wind turbine blades are operating safely and efficiently. And you can also definitely extend the lifetime of your wind turbines, which will save money in the long run. So in this podcast, we're going to discuss all of the important factors of wind blade inspections and repair planning. We'll also talk about some of the latest technology that Arthwind has used to inspect and repair wind turbine blades. Armando, welcome to the program.
Hey guys, thank you very much for this introduction. It's really a pleasure to be here the first time after meeting you several times around the world. So now we are here.
So Arthwind's based in Brazil. You guys are located just outside of Sao Paulo, and you formed a company because you had a lot of blade expertise. You may want to give a brief description of where you learned about blades.
Yes, yeah, that's right. We are located near to Sao Paulo, actually Sorocaba. Sorocaba is a city where Texas has built more than 50,000 wind blades since 2007. So we have here a hub of expertise of the old kinds of blades now at 37 meters, 40 meters, 48, 59 longer blades. And my expertise started in Europe, actually. I was running wind blade maintenance through a company, a local company there, since 2009 up to 2015. Then I returned to Brazil to manage the operation in South America, and I decided in 2017 to create my own project called Arthwind to bring technology to the way how things are getting done. So I was a terrific critic of how blades is used, being inspecting that time, taking pictures from the ground. So I joined partners around the world to bring this new technology to Brazil. And so far, since 2017, we have successfully inspected more than 45,000 wind blade inspections.
And you're tied with Clabotics too. I know you do a lot of drone inspections, which is sort of like the first key of any blade inspection is to get some drone data up there. Can you explain your relationship with Clabotics?
Yes, Clabotics is our actual partner right now since 2020. We have inspected since the beginning of our relation almost 7,000 wind turbines in Brazil. So it's 21,000 wind blades. So we have found a great reliability and a good connection with the guys from Clabotics, and to be able to scale the technology in Brazil. As you know, Brazil, we have a kind of particular market. So we have a high power capacity sector. So we are talking that the average here almost achieves the 50% on a yearly basis. And we have flat wind condition that's good for the machine. But on the other side, you have modern machines here. So we are talking that we are achieving 26 gigawatts in Brazil with 10,000 wind turbines. So if we make the average power output is 2.6 megawatts per turbine in Brazil.
That's huge. Yeah. Brazil has some of the best winds in the world, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a flat wind, constant, unidirectional. So if we go to the northeast of Brazil, we have 89% of all fleet installed. And in the south, we have the other 11. So we have a huge space between the north, the south, and northeast that's empty. And now the folks are looking to the offshore market that will be the upcoming challenge for Brazil.
Some, I guess, market knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, Armando, when we talk about this, but Northeast Brazil is pretty remote. Most of the wind farms up there are in pretty remote areas. So the fact that you guys are bringing advanced technology helps that much more, right? Because it's tough to get technicians up there and back and mobilize this and mobilize that. So having key technology platforms, such I know you guys have got the Clabotics drone, right? But you also have an internal crawler for doing internal blade inspections, correct? And if you guys can mobilize all that at once, that's that much easier when you guys are that remote.
Yes, we have a lot of logistic challenges in Brazil. So the wind farm is so far from the coast, so sometimes we need to drive 10 hours around the countryside to get an inspection done. And yes, we started 2017, so it was much more harder because, we work with data. And 6 years ago, this region was not connected to the internet, good internet, to high-speed internet. So now all of that is solved. And in 2020, after 3 years inspecting with drone, we were insisting on some technology that could bring the internal data to Arthwind, because we are avoiding to work with a tower technician. We are a service provider, but very focused in technology, just to insist to change how the things are get done. And we created during the pandemic, 2020, beginning March, we started with our toy that called Artbot that I have here right now. And we started going to market, with the first crawler. We inspected the first year like 300 wind turbines, the second year 700. And this year, since January, we already get inspected more than 1,000 wind turbines since January with this rover. So we have already the version 2.0 of this rover. So it's a kind of automated that go collecting data inside the blade. And if you put the amount of new images that the owners can get from this inspection and how it changes the decision is dramatically. So we see that only with the external images, we cannot combine the puzzle to give really cover all risks behind the OEM maintenance. So from now, I guess I'm right that we have the most complete package of inspection in South America.
That's huge. Does the internal inspections open the door into what's actually happened with blades a little bit more? I know for the longest time, it was almost all internal inspections, right? It was all drone inspections. And just recently, the last couple of years, really around COVID time, that we started doing internal inspections. What have you learned from those internal inspections?
Yes, what we learned is that is a critical protocol. We have a lot of challenges, it's like, is utopic right now, tell that only the crawler will get the right data for the internal inspection that ensure that all damages are very well inspected, because, there is another complex structure inside the blade. So if you would go to the external side and you see a white or gray surface, everything that's not gray is something. So note, we can divide it now in dirty or damagey. Okay, is another layer. So now this damage can be a cracky or a cosmetic failure. Inside the blade is completely different. So the knowledge of the product, how this product is built, is the game changer. So I'm pretty sure that in 2 years we will have modern robots and crawler, make it very easy to collect the data, but the analysis will face some challenges to avoid to give like false positives and to identify really what is important inside the blade.
Yeah, it's the importance of having the blade engineers look at it, right? We see the same kind of thing Wind Power Lab and other parts of the world where you got to have structural knowledge of these blades, how they're built, how they're manufactured, what the different layers mean. But I like the way you put it. I think that's fantastic. Like at the outside, it's either white or gray, and if there's something different, there's something to look at there. But in the inside, you see wrinkles and delaminations and surface cracks. And is that crack deeper? Is it okay? This bit of resin here looks a little bit white. Why is that? Like, and there's certain reasons and knowledge there that's specialized. It's not as easy as an AI as a silver bullet type thing.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point because inside the blade you have harsh environmental condition, So if you go only with the robot, you have oil, you have dusty from the blade manufacturing. Sometimes the odometry is not so precise. So you need to start. So it's not like scalable. We cannot scale like 10, 11, 12 turbines in a single day like we do with drones. So we are talking that for the modern machines with plus 70 meters longer blades, we are talking to make one turbine per day or 1.5, because we have limited time, 10 hours. We need to climb all equipment. We need to prepare protocols of safety. Then you start the job. For the drone, no, we put the drone on the ground and fly away around the wind turbine. So if you scale so much, we will lose quality. So if you lose quality, we are not providing the the visibility that the customer is looking for. And the game changer on that, the key point is the blade specialist, like you said, Joel. So today we have 22 blade specialists in the back office working constantly, analyzing data. So all of these guys do is analyze data, cross data, check specification from manufacturing, and to give the better recommendation. It's not like only 3, 4, 5 recommendation. No, I need to understand deeply how this product was built to give the right recommendation.
Armando, I know when we talked previously, you mentioned the number of internal inspection vehicles you have in your fleet. What was that number?
Yeah, this year was a challenge because we started with 4 units and now we have 26 units deployed.
That's quite a big change. Yeah.
Yeah, no, all built by our team. So we have our developers here who is working with the robotics. So it's different. Now, as a services company, we working with tech development, with robotics software. But the guys are doing very well because I truly believe that the knowledge of the product that start to build the technology to be employed. So we have all of this pillar inside the Arthwind, and it make the development going faster than when you have only the tech side of the value chain.
And so you guys are of course based out of Brazil, but what other markets are you playing in? Are you in Argentina and Uruguay, Chile, and everything in the South America, or are you getting further than that?
Yeah, right now we are open to work. We work in Uruguay, Chile, some opportunities of consulting in Mexico. We provide some consulting for the United States as well, Europe. So the consulting arms of Arthwind, we can provide service around the world, now only analyzing data. But with some field, we are planning so far only in Brazil. And maybe with the technology of rovers, we can explore another lands like in North America, only sending the technology to the customers to operate by themselves.
What things are you seeing in Brazil, Armando, that would be different than you would typically see like in Europe and the United States? Just because the wind turbines are constantly spinning and producing power, it seems like that's a rough life for a wind turbine.
Oh, the edge is I talk to my customers. So the leading edge will happen. Early or late will happen. So what we saw in Brazil in 2015, when the customers started with the wind power generation in Brazil, they were not very well skilled. So they left everything to the manufacturer in a full service agreement. So the manufacturer has carried all maintenance protocols. And for sure, there is some parts of the inspection that was not very well covered. So like erosion, so like lightning strikes. So what we have now, 10 years later, that we achieve now in 2 years of the expiring this contract, is that there is a huge backlog of service to be offered. So I see a lot of opportunities for leading edge repair right now, but we need to make that smartly to be cost efficient, because, it's not the same to repair like a wind farm with 10 wind turbines and to repair a wind farm with 242 wind turbines. So for this reason, I do believe that the robotic technologies will be the game changer to cover all of this backlog. And also replying what we see different here, I'm not use it anymore to the condition of blades in Europe or United States, but what we see here is we have modern products. We have blades manufactured here in Brazil with 74, 84 meters longer. And what you see that we shall inspect in a yearly basis. Premature damages is still seen, identified now. Probably some manufacturing deviation that becoming a crack, because it's not related to wear and tear. But once we cross the data from internal, where we can see some manufacturing deviation, but it doesn't mean that it will become a defect. We can track and monitor. If, for example, this wrinkle that we couldn't know the acceptation criteria from the manufacturer, if it will become or not in a damage, we just could monitoring this damage now, because it's very easy to see a damage in early stage and to fix it. But the decision to put the hands in this damage, to remove the layers, is something that we need to have a data driven. So this data from the internal can explain a lot of the behavior of this damage, how it will progress during the life cycle. So with all of this data across, we have a kind of a smart decision when we decide to make the repair. What do we reinforce to the customer here is why to make this repair now? So only because it's a crack, but let's look at the historical, how many cycles it's have had to achieve this point. So with all of this know-how, knowledge, and different kinds of blade analysis, we can address a better budget prioritization to our customer.
Yeah, and I think that's the real key here is Arthwind doesn't just do inspections. They are providing the repair pathway and a recommendation on when to do, which is probably the most important piece of when to spend money to actually repair a blade. And that's unique, I think. A lot of companies do inspections. Some of them just do only the repair side because they have blade experts on hand. But to do the whole package, I think, is a little unique. And that creates a very valuable partnership. If I'm operating a wind farm down in Brazil, I will want to work with you because you understand what's happening and you can help me. If I have a problem, you can help me get it fixed. Is that what your customers are seeing?
Yes. Fortunately, we have a close relationship with all of our customers. Some customer call our field technicians like, hey, you are our employee here, so you are in our family. So it makes it easy when we have this relation because we can discuss what is the risk behind. No, we can explain better. We are not always in the rush. So in 2019, we started to audit repairs performed by third-party companies, and we identified a lack of quality in the industry. So a lot of companies repairing blades, but why? Is repairing this, damaging not that? And the protocols was not good. Some of points that we identified during our reinspection is the control of the warranty of those repairs. Because if we back like 3-4 years ago, we can invoice the repair, we can receive that, but we don't have the warranty control. So there's a lot of money involved on that. So it can make it and reinforce to customers who do not spend money inspecting the blades that they can have a payback on that, you know? So this data is very rich, you know.
To be honest with you as well, Armando, that's a global problem. There's not a whole lot of blade repair companies out there that are really good, right? Because to do it correctly, you need what you need skilled technicians. You need a lot of them with the problems we have now in the global industry. But you also need to have back office engineers that are very skilled as well and know the processes. So now you have, if you can put that team together on the repair side, then you've got to figure out a way to get data back and forth consistently, right? Because you may have a really skilled technician in the field, but while they're doing a scarf repair or something of the sort, they may, you know, it's almost like you need a engineering QA QC step as they go along. And if you don't have a good connection of data back and forth, stuff gets lost in there as well. So to get a good auditing trail for repairs is tough. So it's great that you guys are doing that because we see it all over the place.
Yes, in our history in the wind industry in Brazil was exactly that. We started the OEM cycle, inspecting like operating wind turbines. Then we step back to end of warranty because there was forgotten in the market and there's a lot of money involved on that, and responsibilities. It can change contracts during the end of warranty. Then we identified that during the end of warranty, we identified like several cases caused in the construction. So now we have teams, squads in the construction making inspection. Once the truck arrives in the wind farm, the drone already mapped this blade, and we can analyze the gates where this damage is caused. So to understand the root cause, it's a bad handling procedure, like usually we find the in the farm. If it's during transportation, and so we can charge responsibilities for the transportation company, not to the owner of the wind farm, and it brought us to the manufacturing gate. So, and now we have 10 auditors auditing daily blade manufacturing process in Brazil as well. So we cover all value chain just to ensure that this blade can and start the operational cycle health, you know, and safely.
But I think that's a unique piece of Arthwind. I know when I first talked to you about being inside the factories, the blade factories, and providing a quality inspection for the owner operators, I thought, wow, that should be done worldwide. That seems like a really smart move. I don't know why it's so much limited to Brazil at the moment, but it does. Doesn't it produce better quality blades? You're kind of catching things early before they become really expensive.
Yes, we are there mainly to appoint the faults of process to track the non-conformity that is solved before the blade leave the manufacturing process, So, but I think that the most important, if you deploy guys in the wind manufacturing gates before loading to the truck, I think that is a good job to do for every player, the entire industry. It's very easy to allocate audit control inside the manufacturing expedition. As you know, there is a lot of IP. Sometimes they are not allowed to visit the manufacturing. So it's tricky, our market,
Yeah, but I think that's something, I mean, we talk about it at Wind Power Lab all the time as well. It's something that everybody should be doing, right? Like, I'm not going to take delivery of, I always joke with Ferraris. Like, I'm not going to take a delivery of a Ferrari because it's a $500,000 car. If you're not looking over it carefully when you take it, right? But you want to make sure that there's when you build a home, there's a home inspector, right? That they come and inspect it to make sure they hold people accountable before you take it. So people should be having inspectors, having third parties. In the States, we call them bird dogs sometimes because they're out there just kind of like looking around, looking for stuff. So everybody should have that. They should use the third party expertise to be able to control what they get, because you don't want to take ownership of some bad blades. And to be honest with you, it happens all the time. There isn't very many blades we inspect that don't have an issue.
Yeah, that's right. And if you see, when we created Arthwind, I created alone. I found it by myself, and now I have 2 partners. And you have our why very clear. We need to leverage the expertise of the wind blade industry. So if we do that in the manufacturing, the auditing some repair, inspecting any of warranty, providing some advising to our customer to make it better. So I think that we are making very well our paper if we accomplish this communication to go away all players of the industry. Because if you see, we only had some statements in the last month in May launched by DNV to talk about the importance to inspect the blades regularly. So we are talking that to have gigas and gigas around the world, and now we have there a paper that we can show and to endorse what we are saying since 2007. So it's a good moment for us. Companies like Wind Power Labs, Arthwind, that's not involved to the repair. We are not looking to make money repairing blade. We just need to address this budget and to make our industry more sustainable, economically talking.
And Armando, how big of a company are you now? It seems like you've been growing pretty rapidly, even through COVID.
Yes, after COVID, we almost duplicate the company. So today we are almost 115 guys working. In the back office, you have 22 wind blade specialists, product designer, wind blade designer, wind blade process, manufacturing skills. So all cycle of the product we have in the back office, since the designing up to the OEM life cycle. And in the field, we have the technicians operating drones, rovers, auditing repair. Everybody have had some contact with wind blade manufacturing industry. And here we have our inside training just to change a little bit the shape of the guys and to look rightly what they need to show up to the customer. So our fleet of drones today is 11 units. So we have a capacity to inspect more than 9,000 wind turbines on a year basis. Is 26 rovers and dozens of specialists to provide service to the customers.
So what is next for Arthwind?
Oh, we see a lot of upcoming challenges. We see the challenge to face to grow the business based in workforce. The know-how is limited. We cannot hire and train, go to the field. We are very involved now to clean up this data and to provide smart advisory to the customers right now. So all of the work that we are doing now in Brazil, are not starting today. All of our advising becomes since 10 years, 30 years that we are accumulating the industry. And this know-how, old know-how, is helping a lot to address situation with this modern products that we are seeing in Brazil right now.
So Armando, it's been great to have you on the program. I've wanted to have you on the program for a long time, and we always seem to cross paths in some other country. And that's good. It's good to see you at some of these conferences because that's where a lot of business takes place. Speaking of business, how do people get a hold of you at Arthwind?
Yes, they can find us in the social media. I'm very active in the LinkedIn. So Armando Costa Rego is there with a lot of information about what we are saying now, the blue wave. So is a kind of ritual of our technicians that is raising the Arthwind flag in the top of our wind turbine that we inspect in Brazil. So we have a lot of fun stories in the LinkedIn articles, and also in our website, arthwind.com, Instagram, and also my email, my personal email for sure. It is armando.costa@arthwind.com.br, and we can address here any kind of situation.
Yeah, great. Hey, Armando, thank you for being on the podcast. I love talking to you and learning about all the things that are happening in Brazil. So thanks for being on the podcast.